Have Tom Reamer on the phone. He's the assistant fire chief from Anderson Township to give us a perspective on that rescue. Tom, are you there? Okay, we did have Tom Reamer on the line just a moment ago. Obviously, I'm sure he's involved with trying to see what's going on. All right, now we do have Tom. Tom, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. You're the assistant fire chief of Anderson Township, correct?
Yes.
Okay, what can you tell us about the kind of rescue? Is this something you train for on the Ohio River in Anderson?
Well, all the jurisdictions up and down the Ohio River are constantly preparing for different types of emergencies. We do train with even extracting people from moving boats, like if one of the river boats that carries passengers up and down the river had been involved in some kind of accident. So all the fire departments have done that kind of training. And it looks like, from what I can see, that they're doing a good job using the ladders, using ropes to keep people safe, putting life jackets on them. So taking all those precautions just in case, for whatever reason, somebody would slip off the ladder.
You know, as a reporter for over 20 years, I've been on a lot of rescue scenes, nothing certainly of this strangeness or magnitude. Obviously, even when you're dealing with a car wreck where the car's rolled over, your first step, I remember, is that you stabilize the vehicle to keep it from moving any further. Would you assume that that's what they're doing in this particular case, is step one, stabilize the barge before you even attempt a rescue? Oh,
absolutely. And from what you said, you know, the fact that they do still have some of the lines to the shore, they do still have electric. So from what I can see, what I'm seeing on the news, that it has shifted downstream, but not very far, because if it went very far, it would have ripped that umbilical. So I'm sure they still have some kind of attachment to the shore. So they do still have that connection. It's just not as good as it was, and that's why the steps have separated.
Is this what you're seeing on our screen right now? Is this essentially what you would do in the same situation, sort of a combination? It's almost a combination of a high-angle rescue and a swiftwater rescue, isn't it?
Yeah, I think what they're doing is excellent. I mean, as far as there's not a whole lot other you can do but run ladders up there. And once you've done that, and I think that they're fortunate that the bridge is there. It's really providing them a lot of stability. So just being able to know that if it is up against the bridge, that it really can't go anywhere. Once it's actually contacted the bridge, the fact that it's got the lines to the shore is going to give it the rest of its stability. And then it's just a matter of using their ladders and the safety ropes and life jackets to move the people off.
You know, imagine, Tom, hearing this essentially coming into your firehouse. The call we heard over the scanner at about 10:15 tonight, we heard Jeff Ruby's Waterfront restaurant has broken free from its moorings, is floating freely down the Ohio River with 150 customers trapped on board. Clearly, the situation we're seeing now is a lot more stable. No, we're not seeing any panic. We're seeing a very orderly rescue, and certainly the situation is a lot better than it could have been. We never want a what if in this situation, but can you imagine the rescue that you would have to effect if this bridge was free floating down a flooded, rain-swollen Ohio River?
Oh, that'd be awful. You are correct that it is much more stable now. Had it broken free and gotten past the bridge, that somebody would be dealing with a free floating restaurant like that, you'd be trying to scramble some tugboats very rapidly to try to get to it and secure it. And so the fact that they don't have to do that is actually on everybody's side.
Certainly. Tom, if you'll allow Steve Norris, our meteorologist, to ask a question. Obviously, he's keeping a very close eye on the river levels himself, and may be able to give some perspective from the meteorological side of the house.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess my question would be, do you have any idea how fast the river is moving now when it's up as high as it is now? And I will tell you, the flood stage, of course, is 52 feet at Cincinnati, and we are more than 3 feet above flood stage right now, approaching moderate flood stage at Cincinnati. So the river high, it's clear in some of the live shots that I've seen over the last several days and just being down along the river myself, that river is very swift moving. And any idea how fast that would be traveling right now, that water?
Well, the first thing I'll say is I'm probably going to be guessing because I don't know accurate numbers. In fact, that would be something that maybe even the Coast Guard would know better. But from what I recollect over years of being around the river, that normally it's in that 1 to 2 mile an hour range, and when you get up to these kind of floodwaters, you can get in like a 6 or 7 mile an hour type range, which doesn't really sound like much, But when you think about the fact that it's probably 4 or 5 times what it normally is, but really the biggest hazard isn't as much the current as it is all the debris.
Yeah, I was going to get to that, just the fact that a tremendous amount of debris, when you get the floodwaters that we're getting now, all kinds of stuff floating down the Ohio River, it collects around these barges. And it is true, is it not, that it creates a tremendous load on these barges? Oh,
absolutely. It's actually twofold. Watching, on the news over the last few days with the river coming up and seeing some of the places that were still open, water has tremendous hydraulic ability. When you look at just as a person, that 6 inches of moving water will knock you off your feet. 1.5 feet of moving water floats a car down the river. And then when you think about a river that's 50 feet deep and all this material is building up against a barge or a stairwell, and then all that water is pushing up against it, it has a tremendous amount of force. And the second part of that is for those folks that are actually out there trying to move around, whether it's the tugboat or somebody that might be in a boat that be doing some type of rescue, especially at night, that there's full-size trees out there. Right. That if you were to encounter that, especially in some type of a rescue boat at the middle of the night, that could seriously cause you some problems.
All right, Tom and Steve, let me interrupt you for a moment. We